And I was kind of like that as well. I thought the more money I make, the more I'll feel good about myself, because that was something that was potentially wired in from me in my upbringing, potentially. So I think it's really important to understand that nothing external will make you happy. You have to find what you love in life, what you love to do other than business. What do you want to do in your free time? Is it tennis, boxing, Muay Thai? Is it learning a language? Is it, what is it? Like, you've got to find what that is.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast.
All right, welcome back. So I'm excited for another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast with Alex Ramirez, with myself. And today I have a very special gentleman, which I'm excited to dive deep into and dig deep into how he has been able to have so much success in a very short period of time, and how he's managing to conquer his life. Well, first of all, himself, his life, his marriage, and his business. But really quick, before I actually introduce him, I just want to give a very big shout out to everyone who has been leaving reviews and comments on the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and to you who have been watching on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. If you like this episode and you find some value, share it with one person, since this is how we grow, this is how we spread our message, and this is how we motivate, inspire, and bless other people to change their lives. So I know that 99% of you probably won't do that, but the 1% of you who do are the ones who make all the difference. So to you, I say thank you. All right. So today we have Dimitri Ross. He specializes in helping people turn their knowledge into a wildly profitable business. He's founder of Dimitri Ross Coaching and 7-Figure Lifestyle, with which he helps experts and coaches create epic transformations, build authority, and impact the world by rebelling against average. He rebels against average. He doesn't accept average, right? So Dimitri refuses to accept average, and he went from being homeless to growing a wildly successful coaching business, making more than $500,000 in his first year of coaching, in his first year of business. From homeless to $500K in his first year, and now helping other coaches and other experts who want to turn their knowledge into a profitable business do the same. So welcome, Dimitri. Thank you very much for being here, man. I'm excited.
Alex, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know this host's story and journey, you need to be privileged by learning about his past, because it's phenomenal, and he is the definition of rebelling against average. So Alex, massive shout out to you, and you're going to be doing some incredible things moving forward, man. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, man. You know what? A lot of very successful people, a lot of very successful gentlemen, just like you, have been telling me the same thing. Like, you're going to do some amazing stuff with your life. And you know what? I'm starting to believe it.
It's your energy. It's your energy and your authenticity and your genuinity.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. So the first thing that I do with my guests is put them on the spot and ask them to introduce themselves. Tell us a little bit about you and your business journey in 60 seconds or less.
Oof. All right, let's do it. So basically, I'm 25 now. I have a beautiful fiance, soon to be married, and we've got a little 3-month-old boy. He's the best. He's my world. I've been in business for about 4 years now, and I started off with a marketing agency after my fiance and I were homeless with $45.19 to our name. Did the agency for about a year and a half, made good money with it, quit my job, but I was still missing a sense of fulfillment, happiness. So that's when I discovered my purpose was to teach, inspire, and guide. And I got into coaching. And in my first year of launching my coaching and pivoting from agency, I did 500K cash collected. And now I've got a beautiful team who help me with the impact of our clients too. So my life's going pretty well right now. It wasn't always this way. I grew up in a toxic environment. I was 107 kilos, obese, doing drugs every weekend, partying, working 80 hours a week in hospitality. And here I am.
Man, you nailed it. I think it was, let's see.
You put me on the spot there.
Yeah. So that was amazing, man. So you were homeless along with your fiance.
Mm-hmm. She was my girlfriend at the time. Yeah, okay. we had a disagreement with my family, my father, and I didn't see eye to eye. I come from a split family growing up, and my dad moved away when I was 5 years old to a different part of Australia, and mum raised me as a single mum. And I basically never really got to spend time with my dad. And, you being big on gentlemen and becoming a gentleman, a lot of us men don't know or aren't led by someone to show us the way and to guide us and to help us become the best version of ourselves. So a lot of guys like you and me, Alex, we have to figure it out alone. And, we have to find the way. So I was living with my dad when I moved from one part of Australia, Hobart, Tasmania, to the Gold Coast, moved in with my dad, didn't really know much about him. So there was a lot of tension and friction. And one day my fiance and I had a big argument with him, had nowhere to go, didn't have any family around us. So we packed up all our belongings into our car and off we went with two failed businesses at that point and $45 to our name.
Damn. And you just got out of your dad's home.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a sob story of like, we slept under a tent or on the road for weeks and months. We got to fucking work straight away, man. Like we got all our possessions, put it in the car, and in the space of 2 weeks, we flipped everything that was deemed as not necessary and sold everything. We ended up making about $2,000, which gave us enough time to get our shit together and find short-term accommodation and, get some jobs and stuff. So it wasn't, like we were sleeping on the street, but at the same time, we had to fucking make it work. And it was our choice to put in the work to turn it around.
Yeah. It's amazing how many skills you can tap into when you have no choice, huh?
Everything.
And the courage and the
all of a sudden you have to just go 100% in. There's no half committing.
Cool.
Just like you with your story.
Yeah, man. So like, how old are you when like you and your girlfriend were together and, you went together, you went out, and to, face life together. How old are you when that happened? How old were you, both of you?
I'm 25 now. So I think it would have been 21 and a half years old. Yeah. It was Easter time in 2018.
Okay, cool. Damn, that like
you
were young.
A bit over 3 years ago. Yeah.
Cool. So then you got a job. And now she's your wife. No, now she's your fiance now, right?
Soon to be wife. Yeah.
Cool. When is the wedding going to happen?
Well, it's with everything going on in the world right now, it's a bit hard to organize anything with the amount of guests you can have. So I think we're just going to wait until the world comes back to a bit of normality so we can have a big celebration.
Cool. I think that's going to give me a good excuse to travel to Europe or some. I don't know where you look. Where are you looking at?
I'm in Australia.
Oh, Australia, to the other half of the world. That's going to be really amazing. All right, man. So you, all right. So you were 21 years of age, right? You were young, like you said right now, like partying and, and drugs and stuff. And until you decided to get out of, your father's home, you didn't know anything about business. You were never educated to like master yourself or have discipline or have any of these like entrepreneurial skills that are needed to succeed. You didn't know how to be a husband, right? You didn't know, well, clearly you didn't know how to make money, right? But so like, let's dive, can you take us a little bit deeper into like, how did you make it work, man? Because I mean, you should have stayed average, right?
Yeah. I mean, as you said, like I didn't know how to make, I knew how to make money working in a job and slaving time for money in that form. But at that point, we had two failed businesses. We had a health and fitness company. My fiance and I were writing a fitness guide to help women with their health. And we spent 6 months building that, and then went to market to sell it. Crickets. We sold two guides. That was it, for $80 each. And then, I was just like, what do I do now? I didn't know how to market. So then I looked into drop shipping because, it was deemed as the quickest path to riches. Did drop shipping, built a store for a month, a website on Shopify, and literally started running ads, made some sales, but we didn't have enough cash to keep running ads. Like, we didn't have a foundation of money to run ads. So I said, what can I learn? And at this point, the reoccurring theme was, I don't know how to market. I don't know how to market anything. And marketing seems to be the thing that's important here, because you can spend 6 months or a year building a product or a service, but unless you know that that's what the people want, and unless you know how to get it to them in a way that's packaged sexily, elegantly, and in a manner that people want it now and are willing and fighting to pay you, nothing matters. So that's when I came across social media marketing and starting a marketing agency. They call it SMMA. And I said, okay, well, I don't need any cash. All I need is enough to pay for mentorship. All I need to do is become really good at communicating and becoming a master communicator, really good at selling, really good at building rapport with strangers and turning them into customers. So that's when I got into the marketing agency space. And after trying to get that off the ground for 3 months, I struggled. I didn't have enough willpower or motivation, you could call it. And then in December 2019, I bought a Christmas challenge from a coach who helps people grow their marketing agency. It was $1,000. Within 12 days, I signed the client for $3,500 per month, which changed my life. And then the business just kept growing from there.
Cool. So can you make me understand a little bit, like, what do you mean by you didn't have the willpower and the drive to be able to make it work?
It's uncertainty. It's a lack of certainty and a belief that you can do something more than what your current environment is showing you, right? Like, the saying is, the 5 people you hang around with is who you become. I had no one around me, who was doing big numbers in my family or friends who were rebelling against average. I had no one who wasn't going to university or college and getting a job and keeping it safe and all that stuff. So I wanted more. I saw people around me who weren't in my friendship group on social media doing really well, who were the same age as me. I knew there was hope, but I didn't probably have the full belief inside that it could happen.
Yeah. Belief. That's strange thing, right? That determines and makes all the difference. Belief. So then what made you fill yourself up with belief to be able to do the things that you should be doing, to be able to put in the work consistently and over time get the results that you wanted? What was that switch?
I think the switch was having failed 2 businesses at that point and not having really any money at that time. Like, my fiance and I, we worked both in jobs, and everything we saved, I invested in personal development. And that meant that we couldn't go out for fancy dinners or take holidays or buy clothes and stuff because we didn't have anything to our name. So everything we saved, I spent on self-development, on coaches, on trying to find the way. And, my partner was starting to get a bit skeptical of, like, is this possible? Can we really do this? So the masculine in me, the alpha, the man said, I'm going to fucking make this work. I hope you don't mind me swearing. I'm going to make this work. So then it was that point of, I'm going to buy one more mentorship program course. I'm going to get the accountability and the hand holding that I need. And this is going to become a must to work. It's going to work because I'm going to play full out. I think a lot of the times people try and dabble in things. They like to do a little taste of, oh, do I want to start this business or do I like this? But I think you and I can agree, Alex, especially with your story and how you had to then jump into fatherhood and figuring out how to be the best father, the best husband, the best provider. Like you had to jump full in. There was no half-assing anything, right?
There's no, let's see if it can work. Let's see if it works, right? Like it's a must and it's a decision, right? Like you got to take the decision and you got, so like Tony Robbins, I think, Tony Robbins says that you don't start seeing the results that you want until you turn that from an interest or from something that you want to something that you must have. So that's what you did, right? So it was a must, started working. And so then you got your first client. So what did that spark something inside of you?
It just changed everything. And I say this to my clients as well. When you sign that first client, your whole paradigm, your whole mind changes of what is possible in this life. What is possible? Like to be able to fast forward now nearly 3 years since I started my marketing agency and then got into coaching, to be able to have made just under $1 million as cash collectors, we're recording this podcast from my own businesses versus earning $500 a week in a cafe. Like that was all possible because of that one sale. So that one sale, in my opinion, for everyone, that one glimpse of hope is what changes everything.
Cool. So awesome, man. Yeah. So you catch this positive feedback loop, which you thought it was possible, it became possible. So now you think that it's possible. So you keep on working harder and it becomes more possible. You get more clients, you start growing. Long story short, you start your coaching business. On your first year, you absolutely crush it. And so how did you become a father? Was that planned or did you fuck up like me?
So, and just on what you said there as well, like I think that positive feedback loop, that goes for every area of life as well. Like, I'm trying to get the best shape physically, which is one of your core pillars of what you teach as well, like physical health and spiritual and emotional health. Like I'm trying to get the best space physically right now. And I haven't been playing full out physically. So to be able to get guidance in that field and to be able to fully commit, I got positive feedback from my tennis coach yesterday. He goes to me, did you lose some weight? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, positive feedback. I want to push more. I want to train more. I want to start doing more exercise, doing some boxing. So that positive feedback, whatever area of life is the spark that drives you on. And in terms of being a father, it's something I've always wanted to do. My mother had me at the age of 19 years old. And although my mother and I have a pretty uneasy relationship, we don't exactly get along well because I had to break free of my family environment growing up to achieve what I have now, because my family wanted me to play it safe, get a good job, become a doctor or a lawyer. Mum sacrificed a lot for me to raise me as a single mum, and she did the best she could with the resources she had available to raise me. But I never really saw her growing up or was around her. I just craved her love and affection. And I feel like I never really got that in the form I wanted. It was always in other things, experiences, or that kind of thing. So having a young mum was really cool, and I enjoy that even to this day. So I always wanted to be a young father. And I think the last few years, it hasn't been the right timing because we haven't had that financial safety and certainty, and I guess point of feeling like we're ready. So yeah, we've been ready for the last year to get that journey, and then It was unexpected completely, in the sense we were obviously planning for it and had it in our mind, but it was the best news ever when I found out.
Cool. Man, I want to go to what you're saying about your mother, that she did it the best she could to raise you, right? And because of that, she probably didn't give you the time or the attention that you needed or would have wanted, right? Or desired, which turned into seeking that validation and that acceptance, that need of someone giving you that attention and that approval and that acceptance in experiences. That's interesting, right? How your race affects you when you grow up, right? So like, what do you mean in experiences?
She worked like 16 hours a day to put me through a private school. She wanted the experience of me being the first person in the whole entire family to go to a private school. So she gave me that, just little things like that. Or I guess that's a big thing, right? So she wanted me, and, she got me to, in the final years of school, get placement with a surgeon for a week because she wanted me to become a doctor, a surgeon. So she tapped into her network to help me go and watch surgery, to, get me into the field of medicine. And, she always pushed to give me the best experiences. And again, she was only doing the best that she could because, her parents obviously valued, success and stature and status. And for me, I guess that's still a value I have today. I want to be a leader, a mentor, that kind of thing. But I guess you could say the void of my childhood was feeling that innate love inside from a parent. So, and it's kind of like what you said as well about that self-acceptance, self-love. Like, it's so important to feel complete within you before you go out there and serve others.
I misunderstood you. I thought that you said that because your mom worked hard to give you everything, the best that she could, but like she wasn't there for you like you wanted. So then when you grow up, you replace that with experiences, which in my mind was like drugs and alcohol.
No.
I misunderstood, man. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. So then you said all right, then I lost my train of track, my train of thought. But so now you're like, all right, so you had your kid. It was the best thing that ever happened to you. And how was the journey? Like, you decided to become a parent. Did anybody ever showed you to be the best husband, the best father? Did you feel that anxiety, fear? Did that affect your business? Can you dive a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, not at all. I had no one to show me how to be the best father, the best husband, the best role model. No one. Everything around me was either toxic relationships or didn't look like on the outside it was an ideal family relationship. So I never had, and our voids from childhood become our thing that we usually become or we rebel against. Like, if you aren't raised in a loving family, chances are you won't be loving to your kids too. So for me, I saw that, but then I rebelled against it. I thought, well, I want to have it all. I want to have the success. I want to have the stability. I want to be a present father. I want to show up for my family and for my wife. And so that was the shift for me. And managing it now, I really believe in that it's really important for everyone to become a power couple with your significant other. You must do things together. You must embrace self-development together. You must embrace learning together and growing together, because I see a lot of separations between people. One partner is learning and growing and the other one is staying stagnant. Now, it's usually one partner initially that starts learning and starts growing, but it's their job to help this other person rise up as well. So that's something that my partner and I have always done. We've worked on ourselves. We've understood our past and who we want to be as parents. And don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's the conscious effort of wanting to improve your family dynamic that's important.
it sounds like self-awareness played a huge role, right?
Yeah.
Self-awareness of, oh, like, you know, I don't want to repeat the same things that my parents repeated, because I've caught myself behaving the same way that my mom behaved with me. And I'm like, holy shit, no, this is not me, right? And you know, in the journey of trying to become my authentic self, there's a lot of self-awareness that you need. And there's a lot of like self-reflection and self-awareness, and just asking yourself you know, is how am I showing up the way I actually want to, right? Am I treating people, am I talking to people the way I actually want to treat them and talk to them? Or is it a reflection of someone else in my past? So self-awareness plays a huge role, in which is something that you mentioned. So man, and you know, you run a wildly successful coaching business. You're helping other coaches grow and run wildly successful coaching business as well, so that they can have, you know, so that they can rebel against average. I don't even know the word, man. I don't even you know, remember average, and so that they can impact the world. And at the same time, you're having to be a husband, a father, and take care of yourself. Right now, you're looking to level up physically with your health. How do you manage it all? How do you juggle it all, man?
I'd be lying if I said it was easy and perfect, because it's definitely not. I mean, our little boy is only 3 months old at the time of recording this. So it's a big adaptation period, especially the 9 months previous, where my partner was pretty sick, you know, while she was growing him. So it's been a learning experience. And I think I've changed a lot as a person over the last year. It was very much about success, money, status, that kind of thing. And for me, it shifted a lot more. Yes, impact is huge for me, and that is everything. I love that. But now it's the family dynamic too, and having that work-life balance, and or that work-life harmony, because balance doesn't exist. You can't spend 10 hours, you can't spend 50 hours a week on your business and 50 hours a week with your family. It just doesn't exist. You've got to have harmony, right? So it's something that I'm still working on, to be honest. And for me, I think it's clearly scheduling in, family time. What are the fun activities we're going to do together? Having a sacred day on a Sunday. What are the activities? How am I going to schedule my work week? The thing that I've realized as well is if you go and put all your family activities and your you time into your calendar or your schedule first, that gives you less hours to work on your business each week, which forces you to be more productive. So that's been a big one for me. But the other thing as well is mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, which is what I know you're really big on as well. It's like, if you don't fill up your cup first as a father, as a husband, if you don't fill up your cup and you feel good physically, emotionally, and spiritually, which are your core pillars, how are you going to show up for your family? How are you going to show up in your business? So I'm a big believer that you have to fill your cup up first before you can go and pour into your family and into your clients and prospects.
100%. The way you talk to yourself is the way you talk to other people, right? So that's why, like my Mexican family, like when I see them making fun of other people or even making fun of me, like I don't feel bad. I feel actually, I feel empathetic and I feel bad for them, because how you talk to yourself is how you talk to other people. The relationship that you have with yourself, pretty much determines the relationship that you're able to have with other people. The love that you give to yourself is a very accurate determinant of the love that you're able to give to other people. And like everything starts with you, right? Everything starts with like self-love, which is something that not a lot of people understand. And like if people would give themselves the time to understand this idea of self-love and how this could solve all of their problems, like shit, right? Like a lot of things would change, man. What do you think about self-love?
Yeah, I would love to have your take on that as well. But for me, that's something that I battled with as well. Like, I think a lot of people attach self-love to the external things, like that car, that they want to get, and then they finally get it, and they think that was going to make them so much joyous and happy, but it didn't. And a nice house and a nice watch and all these external things, the money. And I was kind of like that as well. I thought the more money I make, the more I'll feel good about myself, because that was something that was potentially wired in from me in my upbringing, potentially. So I think it's really important to understand that nothing external will make you happy. You have to find what you love in life, what you love to do other than business. What do you want to do in your free time? Is it tennis, boxing, Muay Thai? Is it learning a language? Is it, what is it? Like, you've got to find what that is for you. You've got to have daily routines and practices that fill up your cup and make you feel whole and complete inside, so you can go and serve others and impact to the level you want. And so for me, self-love is really about finding peace within yourself. I'd love to know from you, what's your take on self-love, and how do you think someone gets self-love?
Yeah. You're definitely right? Like peace. One thing is that, for example, with a couple, like, it's not your job to make them happy. Your job is to be happy, make yourself happy, and for them to work on themselves and make themselves happy as well, and then share happiness. And then now everyone is happier, right? The other day I was having a conversation with a very successful gentleman, and he told me how he was never able to make the money that he's making now, which is like 100 times more, until he learned how to love himself, until he learned how to not lie to himself, until he learned how to not let himself down, until he learned how to keep his word to himself, which is a very huge thing, man. Keeping your word to yourself. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever, how, like, being transparent and completely honest and not lying makes you the most powerful man in the room? The other day in meditation, and I actually learned this from one of my coaches, he said that the truth makes you the most powerful man in the room, right? And like that fact, right? If you want to accept that as a fact, the truth makes you the most powerful man in the room. That it gave him two ideas. One of them talked to his ego, because he wants to be the most powerful man in the room, and the other one talked to his soul, because like he knows that he has been letting himself down, right? And he wants to be truthful to himself. So like, there's this weight when you encounter someone that doesn't let himself down. When you enter a room, like, you can feel it, the presence and the way they talk and the confidence and their certainty. And like, I think that is self-love. And then I have one affirmation here that I actually repeat to myself, which is, to your point, going back to your point, you have nothing to prove or nothing to defend. You are completely worthy just as you are. You need nothing and you deserve everything. Right? And once you can like really understand this, once you can really understand that you have nothing to prove or nothing to defend, that you, just as you are completely worthy, and that you need nothing but you deserve everything. Once you can understand this, and like understand this at a deep level, like in your bones, like things start to change for you, and the way you think and the way you act and the way you everything, right? So man, I was going through your stuff, and I saw that, like, that you help coaches, even if they have zero social proof, zero testimonials, zero followers, grow rapidly, right? Which was something that you were able to do. So maybe, let's shift the talk to business now. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, and people think you need an email list with lots of people on it, or you need more than 100 followers on social media. You don't. Like, business is about building real, authentic connection and relationships with people. When you focus on skilling up and becoming the best version of you, the best coach or leader or mentor, and you apply that with actually true authenticity and wanting to show up for people and impact their life and help them, not how can I get money from them, how can I serve this person, change this person's life, and in fair exchange, I will get paid. When you come from that place, you'll never have a problem getting paid. And so I'm a really big believer on, you have to have if you are watching this and you have a skill or an accomplishment, maybe you've lost 20 kilos and you were miserable, depressed, and overweight, and you've achieved that and you feel good now and you want to help someone else achieve that. That's a skill. That's a journey that you've walked as well. So if you've walked the journey, you can help someone else do it. Like you, Alex, you've obviously gone through an epic journey of struggle and everything that you've gone through to becoming a gentleman and becoming someone of influence. And you've got wealth, you've got your family, you've got peace, you've got everything. So you can obviously then go and help others with that as well. So if you have a skill or something you've achieved, or you've gone and got a coaching certification, maybe NLP or hypnotherapy or something, you can use that to go and help other people. So for me, it's all about know how you can help people, really find your niche, go and talk with them and find out what they want in a product or service, give that to them in a beta launch where you build out your program with them as the first testers of it for a bit of a discount, and then refine it, iterate it, get an amazing result for people, and go again, keep signing more clients up.
Cool. That's what it's all about, right? Having conversations, relationships, and serving people. And I wish someone would have told me this before. Right? Like that business is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple, right? And that it's just about serving people and having relationships, and that the only thing that matters is results. I wish that someone had told me that when I was smaller. Because we grew up, well, at least me being here in the US and growing up in the US, I grew up in an environment that fifth places get a trophy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Level of participation. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this idea that the only thing that you have to do is serve people, like genuinely serve people and help them get what they want so that you can get what you want. But that the only thing that matters is results is a big shift that I had to make in my entrepreneurial career. Like a big shift, like results is the only thing that matters. Results, because even like I would get distracted by the funnels and wanting to do all of these shiny objects, and I wouldn't want to focus on like just serving people, right? So like, what would you say? Because like, for example, for my first business, I built a website and I built like some really fancy, wasted a ton of money into doing that, and then nothing worked. Just like the fitness thing that you did, which you build it, you spend 6 months building it, and then crickets, right? So then, like, if a married entrepreneur with kids here, like, is wanting to make it work, he's at the beginning of his journey. He's trying to make it work as a husband. He's trying to make it work as a father. Maybe he has a job, right? And he wants to learn how to become a gentleman and achieve true freedom so that he can be successful, happy, and fulfilled. And he maybe doesn't have a business yet, but is looking to start one. Like, what do you tell him?
Mm-hmm. So obviously, number one, if you want to get into coaching or consulting, have a skill or an accomplishment you've achieved, or a certification. And then the next step is just understand your ego will get in the way in terms of you will think of an idea of what the market needs. Oh, they need this program. I could do it like this. No, you can't trust your intuition. That's where we stuffed up with the health and fitness guy. We built something that the market didn't want. So my advice to everyone is go and conduct market research. Go and actually talk to your market. Go and talk to 50 people on a 20-minute phone call and ask them what their goals are, what their dream day looks like. What are their challenges, struggles? What are their fears? So you can get all this research of finding out what your dream client wants, what I call the super niche, and then what they're looking for in a product or a service. And when you build it based off what the market wants, you will never have an issue getting paid and making as much money as you want.
Such a simple step, Ben, man. But like, how many people do you think are actually going to take your advice and go and talk with 50 people for 20 minutes and ask them?
None.
Right?
Because it's the same
step.
process of what we talked about before of people pay to pay attention. I've got a mini course, a 2-hour mini course on how to sign your first 5-10 clients that I'd love to give everyone listening to this. If you're wanting to get started as a coach or a consultant, it's the wisdom that I give my paid clients who sign their first 5-10 clients within 2 to 4 weeks with me, and they make really good money. But the act that it's free is completely different to someone pay, because when you pay attention, right?
Yeah, man. So yeah, like anyone listening, if you want to start your coaching business, make that first investment of time and effort and talk to 50 people, right? Get really clear on what are their ambitions, their goals, their desires, their fears, their frustrations. And, it might seem like you're wasting your time. It might feel like, you're not getting none of that. But like, once you're done, the returns that you're going to get on that are exponential, right? Because it's better than not having a foundation and not knowing what you want and having to guess, right? So, man, we're almost at the end of this thing. And I like to, this talk, and I like to end up with 5 questions. So can I go ahead and ask you the first one?
Yeah, of course.
So the first one is, if you could travel back to give your 18-year-old self some advice, what would you say to him?
Read as many different areas of life as possible. Read books and find what you're passionate about. Find what lights you up. People say find your purpose. It's a bit fluffy, but if you read and you learn different things, you'll find something that you're drawn to, and then go and dive deeper on that thing.
Cool. Really reading and shooting videos, with to myself, reading on an Instagram live, reading was actually how I learned how to read, man, right? Like reading out loud on video was actually how I learned how to read every single day. I would read for like an hour out loud. And that's how I learned how to speak English. Because 2 years ago, like I couldn't speak more than 3 words without choking. And you could probably still notice this sometimes. But yeah, reading is huge, man. And some of the most successful people are huge readers, right?
Yeah.
So the second one is, what is one mindset shift or breakthrough you have made? One mindset shift or one breakthrough that you've made that has made you level up in your life and in your business?
Fail forward. Don't be obsessed with perfection or the pretty things or the distractions. There's this flood of noise out there and you can get distracted so easily, but take massive imperfect action and fail forward. Learn from your failures and go again.
Awesome, man. So as you know, like having clarity, right, is crucial. So do you have any strategy, tactic, or tool that you use to make sure that you keep yourself very clear at all times?
Yeah, every day, every night before I go to bed, I map out my goals for the next day and what I want to achieve, the tasks. And a really important question for your audience to understand is, the version you are right now is not the version of you who's going to achieve everything that you want. So you have to connect with your higher self. So ask yourself, who would you love to be, do, and have? And when you journal on who would you love to be, what would you love to do, and what would you love to have in this life, you connect with your higher self, and then you can start to set goals to work towards achieving those things.
Cool, man. So I actually got invited to some speaking gigs, and I actually had a dream of it. So like my subconscious mind was telling me how to appear on the event, and I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna be like with my microphone, right? And I'm gonna be like, ha 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 ha. I'm gonna start laughing like really hard, and then someone's gonna start laughing because when you see people laugh, you laugh as well. And then I'm gonna stop, abruptly and say, "What are you laughing about?" And then they're gonna be like, "Oh, holy shit! Like I don't know." And then I'm gonna tell them, "Do you know what I'm laughing about? I'm laughing at myself. I'm laughing at the version of myself that I was 2 years ago. And there's a version of you out there in the future that is laughing at the current version of that who you are right now. There's a version of yourself out there that is laughing at the problems that you have right now, at the money that you're making right now, at the way that you show up with your wife, with your kids, with your business as a leader. There's a version out there that is laughing at who you are right now. And, you got to change, you got to evolve. So yeah, that's definitely 100%, man. The person that you are right now has to die in order for a newer, higher, wiser, more intelligent version to be reborn and for you to achieve your goals. I'm really passionate about that. I don't know if you could tell.
True.
So, what do you think is the one most important habits that you have that has contributed greatly to your success?
Understanding my values and realizing that business and serving others is the most important thing to me. And that naturally makes me show up daily and do the work. So if you understand what your values are, like if you value social and going and spending time with friends and family and appearing as the cool guy and wanting to hang around with people, or if you value family the highest, chances are you won't focus on growing, or if your highest value is health, if business isn't number one and wanting to make an impact, you'll struggle to
make that
put in the work. So you have to consciously link how's working on my business going to impact my family? Write out, all the benefits, 50 or 100 benefits, and do it for every area of life. It's called a linking process. And when you understand how working on your business, if it's not your highest value, is going to empower your health and going to empower your relationships financially, then that's the secret to success, the linking process.
100%. And like people think that values are just these like fancy words that you have written down, but no, like it's much more than that. It's part of your identity. It's part of who you are. And if you have that very clear, it's very easy for you to make decisions, right? Like bad or good. If you know what your values are, if you have them very clear and you have internalized them very well, you're going to pick good, regardless of whether the bad is like lingering on your ear. And I just wanted to share a couple of my values, man, because I want to like hit it, make sure that this hits home of like how values are so important, right? So the first three are respect, humility, and wisdom. My core values, and you can talk about yours if you want. Respect, humility, and wisdom, right? So respect and humility leads to wisdom. When you're respectful and you're humble and you listen to understand instead of talking and stuff, or just respect and humility make you a wise person, right? And then when you're wise, leads to excellence. Being wise leads to excellence, right? So the next three are motivate, inspire, bless, which is my purpose here on this earth, to motivate, inspire, and bless people. But like motivation, you can motivate people if you're jacked, right? If you're jacked and you walk around jacked, like you're a motivation for people. Like, look, he's jacked. Like I want to be jacked as well. So you motivate, but you don't inspire them if you're an asshole. Like if you are jacked and you're like, I'm jacked and you're not, or I'm rich and you're poor, like that doesn't inspire people, right? So if you want to motivate, inspire, and bless people, you got to do it with humility and respect and wisdom, right? Which comes from love and appreciation and honor. So when you do it from that place, you motivate, you inspire, which moves people, and you bless them because you change their lives, right? And then the next three are committed, right? Learner and becomer. Committed, learner, becomer. This basically means that I am committed to becoming a becomer, right? I'm committed to becoming the best version of myself, becoming a becomer, someone who is always becoming something, right? That never stays the same. And then the last one is gratitude, which has changed my life. Gratitude, I've found that gratitude gets rid of fear, it gets rid of frustration, it gets rid of doubt. If I take a second to be grateful, and instead of looking at the bad things or how nothing is working, and I switch my mindset to gratitude instead, it changes everything. And those are my core values, man.
It's beautiful.
And
Mic drop.
Yeah. And yeah, it's so important, but people think that they are this like fancy words, and they don't take the time to actually identify them and decide them for themselves, right? The last one, 30-second thoughts. It's the last one, your thoughts, 30 seconds on tracking and measuring and having KPIs on business and also on life. Do you have any? I mean, on business, of course, right? But you can talk about it.
Yeah. So what we do as a family is set our standards each week. What are the minimum things that we need to do to empower ourselves and to be whole and complete and happy? So, whether it's go to the gym 3 times, and you have to commit to that, because whatever your lowest standard is, you have to match. Set the standards from your higher self and then match that. If you don't make it, it's not good enough, because your word is your bond. It's everything. Integrity. So you must make your word your bond. I think it's a lot about what we've talked about today as well. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. And then from a business point of view, I set 2 goals. I set, what my monthly reoccurring. I want to make sure every single month my monthly reoccurring income grows, because that's like stability. You can grow a family on reoccurring income. And then my goal for what kind of overall cash collected I want to do as well. But I keep it as simple as that. I obviously track everything from an organic marketing point of view. I've got my numbers I've got to hit each day to know I hit my monthly goals. So you've got to know the basics that you need to hit, your standards in each area of life. And when you do that, you ascend to your highest version of you.
We track and we measure grows, right? You can't improve what you don't measure.
Absolutely.
Right. So, yeah, man, we've come to an end. What do you think about the fact that everything that we've talked about are money making strategies?
What do you mean by that?
Do you agree or no?
Everything that we've talked about are money making strategies.
I mean, the last portion, right? Not so much, the beginning of like, but yeah, definitely the last portion that we talked about for the last like 10, 15 minutes are like money making strategies, the core values, the integrity, keeping your word to yourself. What do you think about that?
I think it's all life empowerment. I think it's all life empowerment stuff. Money is just a byproduct of who you are. So money is based on your energy and your vibration and who you are as you show up in the world. So it's all life empowerment strategies. This is an epic podcast that we've had and giving people so much wisdom.
Cool, man. So, man, I mean, I loved everything that you said. I love your story. I would love to rebel against average, right? And be able to grow a wildly profitable and successful coaching business, just like you did. And I would love for you to teach me. So what would you say for someone who's listening, who maybe wants to learn how to take their knowledge and turn it into a highly profitable and wildly successful business? Where can we find you?
Amazing. So first of all, you can find me on social media, on Facebook or Instagram as Dimitri Ross, DimitRiRoss. And in my bio, I have a link there to my 2-hour mini course that I put together, which is how you go and sign your first 5 to 10 clients and turn your knowledge into an online business, either a product or a service. So that's a really good place. I'd love for you to connect with me and let me know what your biggest takeaways are from this episode, this awesome episode that Alex and I have had. Reach out to me, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to get to know you and help you in this journey.
Awesome, brother. So that's it, man. Do you have anything else you want to add or want to say?
Go and take action.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you very much. The links will be here. There's going to be little animations that come up with your name and links and stuff. So yeah, man, it was a pleasure having you, and thank you very much. I'm very grateful, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you will do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms